Hey you guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Jasmine, and in today's video I'm going to be telling you guys about how I planned my wedding during COVID, things that I learned, things that I wish I would have done, and yeah, just giving y'all some tips and tricks that I have learned along the way. And if I can help anybody plan a better wedding during these trying times, then that's definitely what I want to do here. Before we start this video, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. I would love that if you could join our family. I post 2 times a week, sometimes 3, so if you guys want to see more videos, click subscribe and also the bell notification button. I'm gonna make sure to put timestamps down below, so if you guys want to jump to specific parts, specific knowledge, tips, tricks, you can just go ahead and do that. You don't have to listen to this whole video. It's up to you guys though. Okay, first things first guys, this shirt, it looks really weird on camera because you don't see like the end of it, but it's a really cute little shirt. I'll tag it down below if you guys want to check it out. It's just like a little simple basic, but it just has this little V, which is really cute. Anyway, got it from Pretty Little Thing. It'll be linked below, but yeah, that's neither here nor there. So yeah, let's talk weddings. So for those of you guys who don't know, my wedding was supposed to be last year, 2020, June 13th, 2020. It's on my little planner that I'm looking at right now. And that was my original wedding date. But due to the pandemic, we had to change our wedding to this year, which is 2021. And honestly, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Things are looking a little scary, still a little scary, just as much as they were last year. But yeah, we're just gonna keep on pushing. But yeah, so we were supposed to have our wedding last year, but coronavirus made us push our wedding to this year. So here we are. I'm still planning my wedding for 6 months from now. It's still gonna be in June. So I am down to the nitty gritty and down to some things. So I decided to make this video for you guys because I felt like a lot of you guys had like questions about like my wedding and like how it was going and how am I planning for it and blah, 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 blah. Ooh, I almost hit my waterfall. But you guys had so many questions. So I was like, let me just do a video for maybe any other brides or you know, brides to be that may be struggling and feeling very lost during this time, because obviously it's a first world problem to feel, I don't know, like kind of depressed because of the whole wedding during a pandemic thing. There's many other pressing issues, but if you are anything like me, a wedding is something that you have envisioned your entire life, something that you always dreamed of, always like wanted it to be your special day. I have like a Pinterest board of like how I wanted my wedding to be, the colors, all that stuff. I had it planned, I had it planned out. So the fact that my wedding was about to be last year and then something just rocked my world, I didn't know how to deal with it. So I'm just gonna kind of tell y'all my feelings on it and 3 things that I learned that I feel like will help somebody else. So in terms of the pandemic and learning how to plan a wedding during then, I'm gonna give you guys 3 pieces of advice just to start out. The first piece of advice would be not to stress. And I know it's so hard not to stress, because it's like you feel like everything's just falling apart around you. You feel like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Like this, I've waited my whole life for this moment and look at it, it's not even happening how I wanted it to. Girl, that was me. I was so stressed out. But I realized me stressing wasn't gonna do anything. It wasn't gonna change the pandemic. It wasn't gonna make everything okay. It was just making me feel horrible, and it wasn't helping in no type of way. So that's my first tip. I know it's easier said than done, but I would definitely say try your best not to stress, because no matter how much you stress, no matter how long you stress, no matter how much you cry, nothing's gonna change and it's not really gonna help anything. So in order to make yourself feel better, just try to always see the positive in things. And that was something I learned probably like maybe the first month, 2 months into having to reschedule my wedding. I was like, you know what? We can look at this a positive way. Maybe this will give me more time to find some money to add to my wedding to make it even bigger than what I wanted. Maybe this will give me more time to plan it out, to be more detail oriented, to find things online that maybe I never would have thought about if my wedding would have been last year, but now I can. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the number one thing that I learned during this time, was to not stress out and be as positive as possible. The second thing that I learned from planning a wedding during the pandemic was to expect the unexpected. So we're not stressing, we're not supposed to be stressing, but you do need to have in mind that during this time, things are not necessarily set in stone. You can say a date, it might not be set. You can say a time, it might not be set. You could have a whole idea of maybe a vendor that you want, may not be set in stone. So definitely always have an option too. Now, during like pre-COVID, I would have never thought to be like, make sure I have a second option. I would be like, okay, obviously if some things can always fall through, you never know, but during these times, you always want to have an option 2 and maybe even option 3, because there are a lot of like vendors and a lot of planners and photographers and videographers and all that type of stuff who are not taking clients during this time, or are kind of waiting it out to see what's going on. They're not certain either. So I would definitely be like, have your first pick. I want this as my photographer. Then maybe have a second pick. Like, if things don't work out, maybe you can have this person, and a third pick as if, I don't know about these two, this third one might have to do. And the third piece of advice that I'll have to give you guys for planning a wedding during a pandemic would have to be, just come to grips that things are not gonna be how you imagine them to be. And this was the hardest thing for me to do, but you just have to accept that. You just have to understand that no matter what, like, let's just say like everybody gets vaccinated tomorrow and COVID cases go down, people are still gonna be wearing masks, people are still gonna be on edge, and that's just how it's gonna be probably for the rest of the year for sure, if not even longer than that. So like, that was one of the biggest things that I struggled with, because I was like, I don't want people to be wearing masks at my wedding. That's not what I envisioned. When I see my wedding photos, I don't want to see people with masks on, blah, blah, blah. That was like the biggest thing for me. And I just had to come to grips, like, sis, what can you do? That kind of goes with the first one, don't stress out. I was stressing myself out. But you just have to understand that things are not gonna be the same. Things are gonna be totally different. Unfortunately, it sucks, but that's just how it is. Come to the grips that for a while, maybe even possibly 2 to 3 years, things are not gonna be how they were pre-COVID. And that's the unfortunate truth. So I feel like once you master all 3 of these little tips that I just gave y'all, you kind of just come to understanding like, dang, I'm just having a COVID wedding, and that's just the way it is. I mean, it hurts. It still stings. It still hurts my heart a little bit. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. But what can you do? You know, I really want to have my wedding. I have my dress. I have all this stuff. And I just want to have that special day regardless of what setting it's in. And that's something that I guess was like the biggest takeaway from this, is like, life is not promised. You're not promised tomorrow, and life doesn't slow down, and time is very valuable. So where I could just keep pushing it off and be like, well, I just want to wait until, no, life's not promised. I don't know if I'm gonna get it next year. I don't know if I'm gonna get 2 years from now. I hope so. Shoot, I hope. Praise God, I hope so. But you know, you never know. So I just want to seize the day and live my best life every single day. So hence why I'm just gonna be like, okay, we just having our wedding this year. I'm gonna let go and let God. So now that we got those pandemic planning wedding tips out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and talk about the actual organization, planning of it. I don't know if you guys can see. This is my wedding binder. So we're gonna talk about the actual organization of it, which is something I love, because y'all know I love to organize some stuff. So yeah. So this is my wedding planner. This is our old date on it. Sad, 2020. But I just kept it because like I was on doing this whole little page over again. You can go ahead and like print stuff out, but I just like did mine by hand because I'm crafty like that. And I made it the colors that I'm using for my wedding, which is like a very light pink. So yeah, I got this idea off of Pinterest, I believe. So yeah, you can look on there for inspo. But in this binder, I have all the things that I need to have for my wedding. So I went through and made tabs for each important thing that I needed within the wedding planning. So I have a calendar, I have a checklist, I have a budget, I have my vendor list, I have my bride and bridesmaids tab, I have my groom and groomsmen tab, and then I also have my receipts tab. So obviously you guys can put whatever tabs you want in this book, whatever you feel like is important and you want to have its own little special space for it, go ahead and put it in this book. But these are the things that I felt like I needed to have, and all the other stuff I felt like I could just like keep in the back of my head, write down on other pieces of paper, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So first things first, I have it backwards in my book, but honestly I should move the checklist to the front of the book. Tidbit. But I would start with making your checklist. Now for my checklist, I went on Pinterest and looked up like wedding checklists, and I searched through them, and they have it really organized in a way to where it's like they have like 12 months out, 9 months out, 6 months out, 3 months out, and like they have a list of all things that you should do within that time span. So I found that really helpful, but I went ahead and made my own list. You could print those lists off if you want. Or you could just kind of look at all those lists, make one on Excel, make one on Word, print it out. But I just wrote it out, you know, the old school way, whatever. I like writing anyway. I like things to be like, I don't know, I just feel like I like doing it myself. It helps it put it in my head. So I went ahead and wrote down every single thing that I could possibly think of that was something that I had to do, like something that needed to be done, not just like a quick little task. Like I don't think I put like dumb stuff on here like get your hair done. I might have, I don't know, but I didn't do that type of stuff because that's like obvious. Like of course I'm gonna need my hair done for my wedding, you know what I'm saying? But like I put things on there like make the wedding website, book officiant, book a florist, book the wedding dress, reserve the hotel block, finalize the guest list. So I went through and made a checklist of all those things. And as I go, I check them off. So as you guys can see, a lot of the things are not checked off because a lot of things got put on hold. So honestly, I have a lot to go through and a lot to do. Some of the things on here I have done, but I just didn't check them off. So yeah, that is my checklist. And then I took that checklist and I made a 6-month calendar. So again, I did mine by hand. I just did the calendar for the 6 months out. This is a calendar from 2020. This is one I made last year, but I'm not changing it because obviously I don't have to have these things done by a specific date, just a time frame. So like these dates are off, but like as long as I have something done by the second week, when I have it listed as the second week, I'm good. These are not particular to date. This was just something I felt like I needed to have done by that time. So I had my checklist, I looked at it next to the calendar, and I also had up my Pinterest board where it had all the things like you should do this 6 months out, you should do this 3 months out. And I kind of like worked that whole checklist into this calendar. So when I look at the calendar, it's not gonna be overwhelming as looking at the checklist. I can be like, oh, it's January. I have to have my bar guest count done, my bridesmaids dresses, photographer book, hotel block, book my florist, and book videographer. So as you can see, all those things are checked off, except the hotel block. I still got to do that, but we still got one more day in January, so I can do that. But all those things are done. So now, boom, January's done. I don't have to do anything else in January unless I want to. Then I can look at February, see all those things that I had to do in February, get those done, knock those out the park. So I feel like in this calendar format, when you do it like this, it becomes less overwhelming because definitely looking at that checklist, you may feel like, oh my God, there's a lot to do. When do I do it? How do I do it? But using the little Pinterest lists that I found really helped. And then I'm also talking to my wedding planner and him telling me like when I should have stuff done by and like the time frame definitely helped so much. So I feel like you guys should definitely do this. Take this away from the video. If you're gonna take away anything, have a calendar, take a list and put it on the calendar where you want it done by. And again, the dates don't really matter. I just put it in like a time frame to where I felt like, I don't know, like I could just get it done by then, you know, just to hold myself accountable. If I have it on the calendar, if I want it done by the 11th, I'm gonna try my best to get it done by the 11th, you know? So the next thing I have in my wedding binder is a guest list. Now I actually don't have a guest list in here in this binder. I have it on my computer. Honestly, it's just easier for me to do it on there because I had it on my computer. So when I printed out my, invitations in my save the dates, it was able to just be easily copied and pasted and printed out onto the sticker so I could put them on the invitations. So I don't have it in here, but I do have it on my computer. But if you want, you can print it out and put it in here if you want, like by hand. I'm surprised I don't, because usually I like to see it like in my face like that. But I don't know, that's just what worked for me. So yeah, on to the next section. All right, y'all, so now we have the budget tab, and this is where it gets real. So I don't have a problem showing you guys what I have paid so far for the wedding, and I do not have everything listed, but this is what I did. I put down all of my expenses and everything I would have to pay for the wedding that weren't small things. Like I don't think I put nails on here. I don't think I put like a pedicure. I didn't put like little stuff like that because I was just like, I get that done like every 2 weeks, whatever, every month, blah, 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 whatever. But I put down all of like the big expenses, right? All of my vendors, my dress, my cake, my band, I have to buy Rodney a wedding band, the decor, blah, blah, blah. I put down an estimated price section and an actual price section. So I went through and I put down what I would estimate it to be. So I put for my dress, $2,500, for the photographer, $2,000, for the videographer, $3,000. And then some of these things I left blank because I honestly didn't know like how much a wedding cake would be. So I left some of these blank, but I have to go through these again and really get down to the nitty gritty, because some of these things I'm taking off. And then once I purchased it, or once I paid for it, put a deposit down or something, anything, I went and on the actual side, I put in what I actually paid for it. So we see here that for my wedding dress, I went really over budget, a whole $1,000 over budget. We see for the videographer, only $200 over budget, not bad. Bridesmaid dresses, they were less than what I thought they were gonna be. Obviously I'm not paying for those, but I just put that on there just to have it on paper. For fittings and alterations, the woman at my bridal shop estimated that it'd be about $300 depending on what I need done. So I put that there. And yeah, so as I go, I can kind of try to keep myself within budget. That's why I do suggest filling out the entire estimated section, so that you can really be on yourself about it and be like, no, I'm not paying this much for this. I said my budget was this, it's gonna be this. Obviously budgets change, but you can just be a little bit more like, you know, tight with yourself. You can be like, okay, I'll go over maybe a little $200, maybe a little $500, blah, 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 but I'm not going over much, because my budget was this, and I'm not gonna outdo my budget like that. So now we're in the vendors tab, and in this tab, I just went ahead and put all of the vendors that I have booked, and all of their contact information. I actually have to go through and add way more people, because I haven't looked at this for real since like last year, and then just recently when I decided to start doing this video. So I just put down their address, their phone number, their website, the name, just so I have it on paper. I can't lose it no matter what, because you know, like everything's electronic nowadays, which is cool, but I feel like I lose track of it so much throughout text messages, emails, and all that type of stuff. So if I ever need to be like, oh my God, what's that phone number? I can't find that phone number. Or what's the address? I can't find the address. What was the name of my, because you guys, it starts getting really confusing when you have so many different vendors that you book in. You forget names, you know the names of the people, but you don't know the names of the company. So I put it all right here so I'd be able to go find it easily if I ever need to. I can just look in my book and be like, oh, right here, bet. Now for my bride and grooms tab, I just have little things in here of just things that my bridal shop gave me, of things to do as a bride, things to remember, stuff like that. You could print out maybe pictures of your wedding dress, put it in here if you want. Pictures of your bridesmaid dress, put it in here if you want. I really don't have that much going on in these tabs, because again, it's been a year, like I just haven't had time to do anything. But I'm gonna be filling this out very shortly. This book is about to get real big. It's real small right now, but it's about to get real thick with info, with papers, and all that type of stuff. Okay, and lastly, I would say the most important tab is the receipts. So for my receipts tab, I literally just put all of my receipts for any vendors, anything that I pay for, I print it out, put it in here. Again, I'm missing a lot because I have not really been messing with this binder, because I have not really been planning the wedding like I'm supposed to, but I put that in the back. This receipt is honestly void, because this is a whole different story. But I got scammed basically by a venue. I lost a whole bunch of money. That's another story. If y'all want to hear that little story time, I'll let y'all know. But yeah, so this is void. Don't ever book with a Noah's event venue. Don't do it. But yeah, this one is void, but it's still in here just for my like purposes of just being like, okay, well, this is what we paid, blah, blah, blah. And then all of my other receipts are in here as well. Little receipts, you know, I just keep everything in here so that I have it. And if somebody tries to be like, and especially after getting scammed by that dang venue, I can go back and be like, I paid this much for it and I did it on this date, so don't you try it. Don't you try it. I'm not playing with you. And yeah, and then just in the back of my binder, I just put a whole bunch of different like cards and stuff that I have gotten over time. So when you go tour like venues and stuff, they give you like a lot of cards, packaged like pamphlets and stuff. So I just put all those back here. Somebody gave me a vendor list of a whole bunch of different vendors in the area. I don't think I use any of those vendors, but who knows? We might be looking at them like later when we get down the line in a few weeks. I'm gonna be like, I need a venue. And then in the front, I just have some lined paper so that I can like take notes if I need to. And then some random sticky notes of just things that I needed to remember. When I meet with my wedding planner, I bring sticky notes with me and this binder so that anything we talk about and anything I have to be like, okay, cool, remember that, remember that, remember that. I just put on sticky notes and put it in the front of this binder so that I remember to do it, because I will forget. I'm very forgetful. And yeah, so yeah, you guys, that is my wedding planner, and I really do feel like this is a good way to stay organized and stay on top of things. I will say the two most important aspects of the binder would have to be that calendar portion, which is kind of like with the checklist part mixed in, but the calendar is a must. And then I would say the receipts. Make sure you keep all your receipts, because especially during this pandemic, people be switching up on you, trying to say that they did this, trying to say that they can't do this, trying to say that, oh, we gotta cancel, but then won't be trying to give you your money back. So please make sure you keep all your receipts, text messages, keep all that. But yeah, you guys, I think that's gonna conclude my video for today. I hope that you guys liked it. I know today's video was kind of just really chit-chatty, real talkative, if you will. My mouth is very dry, but I just wanted to show you guys how I organized my wedding planner. And I also just wanted to give you guys a few tips on dealing with planning a wedding during the pandemic, because I know it's very hard and very stressful and it's very disheartening at times. I'm not even gonna lie, it's very sad, but I'm here for you, girl. I've been through it. So if any of y'all are planning weddings or planning on planning weddings or whatever, let me know in the comments down below. I definitely want to have some friends who are going through what I'm going through, and maybe we can make like a little support group, like brides during a pandemic support group, little chain or some little message, you know. If you guys have any questions for me, leave them down below. And like I said, if you want more in-depth videos on specific wedding topics, like, oh, how do you make your invitations? How do you do this? How do you do this? Let me know. Maybe we'll make them. And if you guys would like wedding vlogs, like where I vlog like the wedding process during this time, let me know as well, because I wanted to do that last year, but I stopped because I stopped planning my wedding. So I think I'm gonna start trying to do it this year again. And yeah, I feel that will be a fun little series on my channel. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry I talk so much. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.